you don't want to commit to, sige, gagawa ko ng action film. Pero 5 million lang ang budget. Then don't do it anymore. Kasi sobrang hilaw lang di ba?
They both said no, and you said, run away.
Yeah, in other words, you adjust to the
plot. You need to adjust, yeah.
You need to adjust.
From the point of view of Mike also, it's still a business, you know.
Now, one other question. Co-productions. FDCP is working a lot in terms of opening the doors of Filipino producers for co-productions. Tatlo sa inyo nang galing sa Hong Kong, hindi ba? How do you find the possibility of Filipinos going into various co-productions? Now, before you go into that, earlier this morning, we had a meeting with a group from Vancouver of Canadian producers who may be interested in having co-productions with Filipinos. Do you think that's a viable possibility of getting into? What do you think, Roselle?
Oh, naman, you know, we need to be open to possibilities like that. You know, who knows that could strike something that is really good, right? So just have an open mind with it. Kasi one thing is, the world is getting smaller. Talaga naging global na talaga. Even mga because of the social media and all, di ba? So, we need to be open.
No, saka ini-imagine ko lang, di ba, Keith, the whole possibility of doing Mano po with a co-production in Taiwan.
Right.
Di ba? That would, that would really expand the whole Mano po franchise into another dimension. What do you think? You were talking to so many people in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely...
For the first time in our lives, usually the third day of the Hong Kong Film Fest, wala nang business. And the last people in the pavilion was Regal talking to all this. So what prospects did you get from that?
Yeah, I think there's certain themes that travel well, like the familial themes and the Chinese background of Manopo, something like that is very, travels well outside the Philippines. So I think there's opportunities for combined storytelling, especially if it's something that different people can relate to. So I think co-productions now probably more than ever, matter a lot.
Actually, I was surprised with that movie of Thai movie, yung How to Make Billions Before Grandma Dies. So when I watched it, Mike, I was surprised. Parang Mano po story. Yeah. The familiarity of the story and how...
Some of the language.
The language, you know, and it's a Chinese Thai family, actually. It's about... it's about an ama.
Yeah, an ama.
Who's about to die, and then suddenly all this Gen Alpha wants to get rich from the ama. So it's so... there's a familiar stories across Asia.
Yeah, so sabi ko nga, why can't we explore that possibility? When I saw that movie, sabi ko, this is practically a Filipino movie, except that you had Thai actors and it was Thai situation. But my God, it was such a regional hit.
Yeah.
It was such a regional hit. So I said we can hit the jackpot by eventually going into that. Kayo, ay nako Viva, I know your track record. Alam niyo naman yan, you know what these people do. No? First day, I think that was in Busan? Then first day by lunchtime, they've reached their quota of the first day. Ang sabi ko nga yung opening nila ng first day nila, by lunchtime, na-quota na sila ng sales.
Galing.
Kaya sabi nga namin, ako magpa-dinner ka naman, Boss Vic. Because, hindi ba? I mean, how do you hope to push further your international sales?
I think nataon that yung content on VMX, the old Viva Max, parang unique siya globally. I mean, well-curated, mature themed. So, setting that aside, we're now pushing itong content ng Viva One. More mainstream, more series-based. Ang target is YA. So, young adults. So, nandun, yun ang inaalagaan ngayon. And then yung manakanakang horror, kasi horror travels well in the region. Madali siyang ma-license.
So, maganda ito. Apparently, you're emphasizing now the YA genre, mga YA genres with Viva One. At saka pumapasok din kayo sa realm of horror because I know there's another one done by the Reds, hindi ba? Na bagong horror movie nila. That's interesting. Does that mean that, you are eventually going to put everything on the YA or you're still keeping the adult content?
Tuloy lang kasi, di ba, parang hindi mo pwedeng iwan sa area yung 15 million na nag-subscribe sa Viva Max. So patuloy yan. That's why we're doing 87 a month. So 80 a year for content for Viva Max. But on
80
the
a
side,
year.
we
80 a year.
80.
81 sana yun, tumigil ka gumawa, direct. Tsaka si Mike tumigil na. So 82 dapat yun.
82 dapat.
Di ba, Max?
We produce.
Yeah.
No, not direct. Yeah,
Not
we
direct.
produce.
Yeah.
Restrictions of present
Yes, yes.
possession.
I understand. Yun.
Yeah, so no, maganda yung diversification. Kayo ba walang plano mag-diversify into other forms of content? Will you do the verticals?
No, absolutely. Yeah, we're in the middle of doing that now. Kasi again, you have to be conscious of what the market wants. And again, these are all just different forms of storytelling. So as long as you have a good story, I think it will travel well naman. Pero yeah, yun yung medyo nagwo-work right now, and yun yung parang hinahanap ng consumer. So you have to start getting, your feet wet in that also.
Ang Regal ba magve-verticals?
I'm sure. I mean, we make.
I think it's working on something.
Yeah, we've already made. We make series on YouTube.
Yeah.
So we've always made different types of content, and vertical is just going to be another form.
You know what? And that's another thing that's intriguing me. Now, features are being replaced by a demand for series, right? I mean, there's a lot of need for series, content series. Mas mahal bang gumawa ng series compared to just a simple Is it practically double the budget? What do you think?
Well, kasi definitely, kasi it's development lang yan. It's
Yeah, it's long.
it's expensive already. And then the number of days that will shoot that. And
No, tsaka Roselle, the writing.
Kaya nga, the development of that
It's
will
so
take
hard to find writers who can write the series, who can, compartmentalize.
Right.
And wow, as we speak right now, the whole world is going crazy over Adolescence, okay, which is on Netflix. And it's a very experimental. Have you seen it?
The way it's shot, it's
The way
very...
it's shot,
Yes.
and the content is, maybe, I'm dreaming, I mean, are the Filipinos ready for something as controversial as this, as a theme like this? I'm not even considering yung one shot per episode,
Yeah,
di ba?
I know.
Yung kanyang content about, I mean, do you think we're ready for something like that?
Absolutely. Some of the I've seen similar concepts that came out in Cinemalaya.
Yeah.
About bullying, about
yeah.
and the crimes done by minors. And they were very, very powerful films. Ang swerte ng Adolescence is that it had a platform, and then the company really focused all of their marketing effort on that one content for this week.
Yeah.
If we could do that to one of the best Cinemalaya films each year, that should explode.
But, grabe, can you imagine? It was #1 in 75 countries.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks, it raked 62 million views.
Wow.
I mean, wow. I mean, if we can do something like that. But, I agree. I mean, it's not that I am tooting the horn of Cinemalaya, because I used to be part of it. And FDCP is still part of it. But then, 4 out of the 10 best pictures last year were from Cinemalaya. So it's just a matter of, and I'm so happy that Regal produced, co-produced one of them,
Love Child.
Love Child, okay, and there's so many others I didn't find, as much release. Conobasio, for instance, won an award, okay. So sayang tsaka hindi makakuha ng regular theatrical release. Oo, dahil hindi kilala yung artista, etc., etc. Now, moving on. What about sa APT? APT is unique because you started with television.
Yeah.
With I guess the most successful television show, which spanned literally
46
decades
years,
and about to reach half a century.
Yes.
Okay. So from television, you went into filmmaking and now content creation. What are your plans in the future?
I think our focus has really been on diversification. Just
Okay.
because parang unbeknownst to all of us, what happened during the pandemic especially was nag-break apart yung industry. So many platforms, so many stories, so many and you have to kailangan mo sabayan yun eh.
Yeah.
So we have to diversify so that we can cover as much ground as possible also. Also so that you don't have to limit your creativity.
Yeah.
Kasi any story could be told now and any story can find its audience. You just need to find the proper avenue, the proper platform. Unlike before, kung hindi siya bagay for this artista or it cannot, earn this kind of money agad on the first weekend, then don't even do that story anymore. It's not worth it. Now you can. Small stories can be told and they might even be more popular or more talked about than the big projects. It just has to have you just have to find the right avenue to the audience. Yun lang nga, ang problema, that's getting harder and harder.
I
Kasi
know.
it's
Yun ang
noisy
tatanong ko
now.
Yun ang tinatanong ko Is it
Getting
getting
noisy.
easier or harder? So it's getting harder.
It's getting harder to find audience because the audience now, ang dami mong kalaban. Before you could argue ang magkakalaban are all the big studios.
Yeah.
And then there came a point where we all have to band together kasi ang kalaban natin are the foreign movies. Now, ang kalaban mo is completely different media.
Yeah.
You know, and you have people like dun sa kwento ko kanina, people were watching a film and they were still on social media at the same time. So again, that's where they live diba?
God, that's so sad.
But you have to accept that that's the reality, and maybe I think that's also the sector of the audience that would gravitate towards vertical. Diba? So dependihan talaga.
Bilis, no? Dapat.
Dapat you also have to be in tune with the times.
Yeah.
Alam mo, nakakalungkot, hindi ba? I cannot imagine, Roselle, watching a movie in a phone. Somehow, I think, Mike, what has been so greatly lost is watching movies as a community activity.
Yes.
Right.
It has become just an individual activity. I did my own little research about VMX. Yeah. Watching VMX is a personal.
Yes.
You don't watch it with your family, right?
No.
You don't watch it with your mother.
It's not for communal viewing.
It's not for communal viewing.
Right.
Okay. So and this is multiplied even in other movies. Ang attention span ng audience natin.
It's very short.
Yeah.
Getting
It's so
shorter.
short. Yeah. It's getting to be.
Kaya lahat ng platform direct mayroong mobile only na plan Basically to target
True.
yung mga solo viewing.
And direct, every time you lose the masa, you lose the community feeling.
Yeah.
Whether it's the movies or in sports, like mawawala talaga yung community feeling once you
Mawala.
lose the masses.
You came from the States. Are they going through the same process and dilemma as we are going?
Oh yeah, I mean in the U.S. a lot of my friends they'll pay the $30 just to be able to watch a movie at home instead of going to the theater. They pay more to stay at home.
But they still pay, you know,
Yeah.
because sometimes the showing is simultaneous in the movie
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Plus the streaming
They'd
platform,
rather
the
watch it at
keyboard.
home.
Yeah, because the movie tickets like $15, and then you can buy it at home for $29.99. Some of my friends will just pay the $29.99
They'd rather pay double the amount?
Yeah.
That's why
to not go out
Yeah.
and be
than
next
the-
to people.
More than the ticket price, it really is change of behavior. And
Behavior
that's the biggest
talaga.
factor.
You know what screwed us up? It's the pandemic. It's being locked in for,
Yeah.
almost 3 years.
Nasanay tayo.
Yeah, wala na. Ang na-realize natin na, ito yung masaklap
No,
na
pero but people go out to eat. You'll see the restaurants are full. And then people go travel.
Yeah.
Diba? They really travel.
No, at saka, you know what, Roselle, what really shocks me? Plays,
Yeah,
theater,
plays,
Yeah, musicals.
concerts,
concerts. I mean,
live shows,
live
live
events.
events.
I tried buying a ticket for a theater show. It's four digits. It's 4 digits, and yet it gets sold out.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But then, why are you making such a big issue about 400 pesos to watch a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hindi
because
ba
those are very parang
Passive.
passive, but they're also parang events that you can really share on social media. Oh, I went to this play, look how many people there are. Oh, I went to this concert, let me take this 10-second clip of the artist. It's like a different, like you're in the moment, but you can also post about it.
This is so important to point out. No, maybe because after 2.5 years of isolation, we need interactive entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we need. At saka, well, I'm equally guilty of that. You know, if I don't take a picture of it, it does not exist. Okay, the event does not exist. So
Yeah.
you need to verify it in social media. And it has affected the movies, the movies that we create. Finally, okay, my final question to the group is, with all these changes happening, around, how do you see Regal in the next 5 years? How do you see Viva in the next 5 years? What are APT's visions of your companies for the next 5 years? What are the changes that you are going to implement in Regal, which are so different from the institution that Mother Lily built?
Ay, nako, Keith. A lot
Yeah,
of changes.
a lot of
Definitely.
changes.
Because, you know, whatever, platforms, whatever is going to happen in the future, we go, what's going to happen? What's going to be invented again in the future? And then, how consumers will behave again. Kasi you just have to go with it Go with it and constantly you need to really evolve. You really need to constantly evolve.
Okay.
So that's our mindset right now, and so having that mindset, that's how we do our planning. And then you really need to be able to adjust really fast.
And then really
adapt
fast.
really fast, yeah.
I mean, the way society changes, the way technology is developed, kailangan mabilis ka.
Yeah.
Hindi ka pwede mapag-iwanan.
Yeah.
Pag napag-iwanan ka, talaga ma-extinct
Kasi
ka.
like right now, we're seeing decline also in television viewing, right?
Yeah. At saka when you come to think of it, mas mura talaga mag-placement sa internet-based platforms.
Oh, yeah.
What about Viva? Anong ilang pang platforms ang ibubuksan ninyo? Ilang pang?
Tingin ko parang stay the course, alagaan lang itong mga, whether yung old business namin, yung bagong negosyo, dapat mag-ingat in embracing or moving to ahead sa technology.
Yeah.
So okay lang kami, hindi first mover. Makita namin kung ano nangyari sa ibang nagtayo ng mga platforms natin, the Hooks of the World, the iFlix. Napaaga sila masyado. And then, so ayun, baka...
Wala na yun Roselle.
wala na
Netflix,
eh.
wala
Wala
na.
It's changed so many
To
times.
think that they're backed up with big money, di ba?
Yeah.
Hook is owned by Singtel, di ba?
Yes.
So, and ganun din iFlix. So, yun, itong vertical, sinintay namin, nung nakita namin yung mga sekretarya sa office, in between, panakaw, one episode, sabi namin, pwede na. But then again, yun, I think yung pagtayo ng platform ang mas mahirap creating the content, parang madali naman, hindi mahirap. Yung pagbuo ng platform and enticing people to go parang bite-size o sachet. Yun, bagong animal for us.
Vincent, pardon my ignorance, madugo ba and expensive to put up a platform?
I think yung sikreto namin, we never invested in technology. We look for partners that will invest for us. So, adverse kami sa technology, ang lakas ng obsolescence.
Yeah.
In our, what are we ba, 81? So, for 45 years, we never invested in a shooting unit. For a time, meron, pero we got rid of si Mang Paeng.
Pareho kayo, di ba?
Kasi
After our-
nalaman mo, niloko ka lang. Tsaka wala nakakaintindi. Ganon din sa post, wala.
No, tsaka kaya bumili ka ng camera ngayon, ang mahal-mahal. In 2
mamaya
years, wala
luma
na,
na.
extinct na yun,
Tapos,
di ba?
kita mo naman yung gamit niya, parang, it's
But
very
portable
so,
na.
okay na kami to just share yung revenues with the platform provider. So that's our model.
Alright. And kayo naman, APT, what's the grand plan of the Tuvieras?
Well, I think, for us, the grand plan is really still diversification and trying to kind of hit all the avenues because we want to tell as many stories as possible. For me, actually, sabi ko nga, I am in awe of what Regal and Viva have done. Si Vincent, si Mr. Sel, they mean a lot to me kasi I don't have that many other people in the industry to run to for advice.
Yeah.
Kasi yung ilan lang kaming second generation producers.
I miss our dinners.
Yeah, and unbeknownst to many people, we don't really talk about it openly. I have dinners, I have coffee dates with them.
Yeah.
Because no one else will understand. It's such an isolated incident or an isolated experience that I really, throughout the years talaga, I ask for their advice. And both of their companies also mean a lot to me. When I was a college student, I was editing for Rudy Fernandez for Viva.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
really?
Then, and
Okay.
I had no idea why he really wanted. He had me edit all of his trailers.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my first film was, of course,
Yeah.
Kay Mother. And then I made most of my first films were all Regal films.
The
Yeah.
promise.
And for me, it's all about that. Parang that's why I never really subscribed in the idea that we should all compete.
Yeah.
How could I compete? Because these people know me more than anyone else. They
Yeah.
know my experience more than anyone else. I co-prod with them.
Yeah.
I produce for them. We partner together. We're literally in the middle of doing stuff together. So parang it's more of for the industry. We want to fight for. That's why we're also active in the guild, because we want to fight for the industry in general. We want to fight for the future and for the survival of the stories that we tell and that need to be told out there, di ba?
Yeah.
So parang the future of, I can only wish, kasi APT is so much younger than Viva and Regal, I can only wish in the future that paglaki namin, we grow up to be something like Regal or Viva. That would be an absolute honor because I work with them very intimately at nakikita ko what they've done to their companies and I am so impressed. And I look forward to telling even more stories with both companies.
And you know, this goes hand in hand with what FDCP really wants. I mean, if there is one big problem right now, it's the sustainability of the industry.
Yes.
We really have to fight hard to sustain the Philippine movie industry. And the whole idea of
And of
studio-
course, Direct Joy, we're glad that you're
Oh, thank
And
you
your
so
help.
much.
Yes. Yes.
You're such friends. You know, I mean, we really fight for the sustainability of the industry. And I agree with you. I mean, I think the various studios do not compete with one another, but we must rather work together. Okay, because it's the industry as a whole which is at stake right now, which is in great danger of extinction
I hope
if we do not, if we do not really watch our backs. And that is why, again, FDCP is really promoting the globalization of Filipino movies. I mean, if Thailand can do a movie like that and become a regional hit, hindi ba? If, you know, we have this big dream of winning the Oscars, but it's not as simple as, you know, A going to B. And we can only do that if we gain the respectability for the world to recognize us as a powerhouse. Okay, as a powerhouse of content creators, of filmmakers, and of creatives. So I was saying, you know what, I don't envy you guys because you have big shoes to fill. Okay, you have big shoes to fill. I mean, thank you so much for
Thank
this
you.
conversation
Thank you,
because
so
we learn a lot because you have the legacy to live for, and then there is this legacy to continue, but more so, you're part of the painful process of evolution. Okay, because you cannot just live on the glory that has been done by your parents.
walang forever.
Walang forever. So, you know, maraming salamat. Okay,
Thank
and
you, Direk.
hopefully with this conversation, maintindihan ng ating audience kung gaano kahirap at kasalimuot ang paggawa ng pelikula. Ang sarap pumunta sa sinihan, kung pumupunta pa kayo sa sinihan, para manood ng sine. Hindi nyo alam kung gaano kahirap ang pagtugma at paggawa ng isang pelikula. At lahat yan ay nagsisimula hindi lamang sa isang direktor, hindi lamang sa isang manunulat, higit sa lahat sa mga producer. Kaya laging sinasabi ko sa aking pamangkin,
Si Mark.
okay, Mark, protektahan mo ang iyong producer. Okay? Dahil kahit gaano kalaki ang mga ambisyon mo at pangarap mo, ang importante ay protektado ang taong nagbigay sa iyo ng pagkakataon na gawin ang pelikulang ito. At tandaan mo, Mark, movie making means money, okay? So, watch it, okay? So, this is Behind the Reel. Ako po si Joey Reyes, sa nagkataon na Chairman at CEO ng Film Development Council of the Philippines. Sana panoorin niyo pa ang iba naming edisyon nitong Behind the Reel kung saan pag-uusapan namin ng iba't ibang mga masasalimuot at napaka-interesting na issues tungkol sa film. And these are from people who are part of the film industry and therefore what they say really means a lot and really matters. So, maraming salamat and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Uy, thank you naman so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So today, we'll explore the stories behind the stories, straight from the minds of the people behind it all, from script to the screen.
Special mention kay Mel Mendoza. Siya rin po ang first writer.
Like ako, himala. Sa akin ang galing yan. Akong pumili ng director. Akong pumili kay Nora Honor.
Ano kaya gusto ng tao ngayon? Yun naman at the end of the day, you always want, of course, you want to be watched.
Tinatanong ko rin sarili ko, ako, ano bang gusto ko sabihin? Yun yung pinag-uusapan namin dapat.
And kung kilala mong director, respeto mo, you will be included in that.